This Hangout on Air is live. There's my light. Whew, that was close, Steve. All right, we are live on Hangouts on Air, and we are now live on the app. So hi to Alpha Geek Radio and to the app people and everybody in the chat room. We're going to take roll call. We got it going here. We got Donald and Steve and Brett and Kevin and Dan and Gary and Dorothy and Micah, or is it Mika? I think it's Micah, and we got Rose and Mark bringing up the rear here because apparently Alistair's not in today. I think we should see Bart later because he's got next week off, so he can play. So that would be fun.
And it is Micah's first time here.
Oh, it is Micah's first time here. Oh, cool.
Let us know if we're pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah. If yes. I'm going to go with Micah until further notified. Yeah, let me make a little note here. All right. We've got, actually, you know, I thought Richard had to be here because wasn't he supposed to be bringing the drinks today because he was late last week?
Yes, he was.
Well, I'll probably mention this a couple of times. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which, I wrote this down what time that is. I think it's 1700 UTC. Tomorrow is the Apple announcement, and we will have this live chat room open during that. So if anybody wants to come in and play around on chat and talk about what it means, won't have a live video. I'm not going to be talking or anything, just going to be chatting. So if you guys want to come to the chat room tomorrow, that would be cool. Sybil's here.
I think it's 1500 UTC because it's 7 hours ahead. So
hang on.
10 goes.
Let's see. Hang on. I did it earlier today.
No, 5 p.m. Yeah, 1700.
5 and 12 is 1700. So I was right?
I think you might have been.
Well, what do they say? Broken clock twice a day?
Or a year.
That's probably the first time I've ever been right on a time thing. All right, let me do a little test recording. Make sure you guys can hear me. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. All right, let's hear how that sounds. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. Sounds quiet in the recording.
Your voice is a little bit more quiet. Not much.
Let me look at this and think.
Linda's here, finally.
New York Linda's back. Yay! Oh, good. Poo-poo head is back. All right. Linda has been locked out of the chat room. Steve worked with her today and actually found a quick solution, looks like, to getting her back in. So, yay. She's been sad sitting on the sidelines. Playback from Amadeus Pro. But I think it's actually recording low. I don't think that's coming back low. I think it's actually recording low. Let me check something here.
Rattles just snuck in.
All right, Rattles is back. All right, input volume is... Oh, wait, what is that? What is that even talking about? I want on this one. There we go. Ooh. That should have boosted me up some. But I don't know. Is that too hot? Too hot to handle? Let me try that again. All right. Where am I? Are you talking to me, Steve? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, it wasn't your live voice. It was your recorded voice that was low.
Yeah, but I'm also, it's recording low on, I can see the size of the waveform on Amadeus Pro, and it looks like I'm low there too. So the reason playback is low is because I'm recording low. And the only way I can fix that is by increasing my input volume to Amadeus Pro. And the only way I can do that is with the system preference for input volume. Wait a minute. Oh, that's interesting. The input was set to Soundflower. Why was that? Okay, let me change that back. Change one thing at a time. System preferences. So I had... Oh, wait. No, that is what I want. Yeah, that's what I want. I want it to be Soundflower, don't I? As long as you don't do any talking. Yeah. Put that back. Put that back. Put it back. Okay. Don't change things at the last minute. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. Okay, I'm going to keep it about there. It's a little hot on this recording, I think, but you guys will survive, right?
We'll survive.
All right. If Richard comes in and doesn't bring drinks, give him a hard time because he was late. He was really late last week and he did not. And so he's supposed to be bringing the drinks. So I don't want to hear any grief out of him if he doesn't bring them. All right. No, Brett is not poo-poo, or Linda's not poo-poo head. All right. Let's go ahead and start the show. Here we go. We want to look like this is a professional outfit in front of Mika for his first time. Is that him or her? That's he, right? Let us know on that too. All right, here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Macintosh bias. Today is Sunday, March 20th, 2016, and this is show number 567. When Chit Chat Across the Pond this week, Bart takes me through Programming by Stealth, episode 11. So you know how he convinced us to stop using tables to format blocks of information and instead taught us how to use the flex block model? Well, now he comes back to teach us how to use tables after all. He does explain, though, that there is a time and a place for tables, and that's not in formatting information, it's to display tabular data. He teaches us how to add titles and captions to tables. We can add footers, he makes nice borders, helps us justify the text just the way we want it to look. We even learn how to color the boxes into the old-fashioned green bar report format. Ask your parents about that one if you haven't heard of it. I really enjoyed gaining more power over HTML and CSS in this tutorial, and he says that next time we get to start doing JavaScript. So we're really cooking now. If you haven't subscribed to Chit Chat Across the Pond just yet, please do a search in your podcatcher of choice and join us next time. Well, let's see. Tomorrow is going to be the announcement from Apple. And if you're listening to this before 10 a.m. Pacific time, which I believe is 1700 UTC, you should come over to the live chat that if you go to podfeet.com/live, you can see you can join the live chat straight from the website there. So we're going to just be chatting away. There won't be live video of me or anything like there is during a live show, but we will be there chatting away and commenting about whatever we think of whatever Tim Cook says. There, I winged it, Steve. How was that?
Well done, Podfeet. Well done.
Very nice. Only a couple of uhs. Oh, but we will be there. Okay, there we go. Sounds good. Oh, poor Steve. He says, let's see, there's no video of him. Yeah, I did that when I was trying to figure out why my picture wasn't showing. There you go. Do you want to talk, dear? Now, come on. No, he's not going to talk. Oh, yeah, Brett, good point. Servant of Claw of Satan is here.
Servant of Claws.
Hi, George. How you doing? Yeah, Rattles, if you go to podfeet.com/live, which is where you probably are, there's, if you scroll down, there's some links to 3 tutorials. Kirshen did one of them and I did the other 2 for if you're on the Mac. If you're on Windows, we really should have somebody make one for MIRC. That's another way to get in if you're on Windows. But anyway, yeah, doing that with with a third-party chat client is more fun. All right, we are going to pull in. Oh, what did I do? Oh, here it is. Okay, we're going to drop in a new track here. Actually, what happens if I do this? I think this works, doesn't it? I go in between, go right there. See what happens if I drop that there. Cat/fever. Oh, that didn't work. Well, it did, but I don't like how it moved it. Let's see. We want to go to right here, which is, where's that? That is 142. Tracks, shift track. 1 minute, 42 seconds. Yeah, that worked. Look at that. You know that transition sounds here? Or anything like there is during a live show, but we will be there chatting away and commenting about whatever we think of whatever Tim Cook says. Well, I've asked Bart to come in to the middle of the show here for a moment to talk about something that I'm confused by. Last week, Mr. LaGreca, Joe LaGreca, talked about Authy on the podcast, and that was an application that allowed you to do two-factor authentication separate from your password app. And he emphasized that he uses it instead of using 1Password that he uses for his password manager, because it does. Okay. It's going to be a fair amount of recorded content. But yeah, I really didn't understand that two-factor stuff as much as I thought I did when I heard it. All right. Yep. I got my retro shirt on. This is not the original Podfeet logo, but I think this is the second one. Is that right? There was a green one before that.
I think you're right.
Allison jumped from both ears to my left. Yeah, Kevin, same thing happened here. I'm in both my ears right now, and all of a sudden I heard it that was over here, and then also Bart jumped into the right ear. So, that's interesting. So stereo is coming through on the Hangout then.
I think it is.
You're in the left channel. Whoever had it was in the right. Yeah, that's right, Dan. Yeah, that's the stereo recording of me and Bart. We're on separate channels when I record in Skype. So just in case there's like a phone ring or something, and there was a phone ring during one of those, either this or during security bits, but it was while I was talking, so I couldn't cut it out. But that's the theory anyway. If something went wrong on one side, I could do it. All right. On the fly with no preparation. Okay.
Yes, I flying by the seat of the pants. I don't think well.
Okay, Bart was mad at me for making him do that without prepping. But, all right, let's go here. I think I'll do this. Actually, I feel like this one next. All right. Here we go. I actually had to go back and listen to that a second time to make sure I understood, but I think I finally get the hang of this two-factor authentication thing. Probably help if I just give this thing a try and dig in and do it. Yeah, it's on my to-do list. Pretty soon. I really will, I promise. Well, there's a lot of cool stuff associated with Podfeet production. We've got a live show. We've got a Facebook group. We've got a Google Plus community. There's ways to contact me on Twitter. The list of things you can do with the shows, it just goes on and on. I bet your head spins sometimes, though, with this, and you want to participate in all of the fun, but maybe you get paralyzed trying to figure out where everything is. How do you find all this stuff? Well, I wanted to give you guys a hot tip. In your web browser, type in podfeet.com/whatever service you're interested in. Want to find the Facebook group? Podfeet.com/Facebook. Want to find me on Twitter? Podfeet.com/Twitter. Looking for the direct iTunes link to the show? Podfeet.com/iTunes. How about our YouTube channel? Would you guess it's podfeet.com/YouTube? Finally ready to join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways at the live show on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time? Well, that's at podfeet.com/live. I've done a ton of tutorials over on podfeet.com. Any guesses what you could type in to get to them? Yep, podfeet.com/tutorials. Google Plus is going strong. If you want to join that community, you can jump right to it by going to podfeet.com/Google Plus. Maybe you really wished you'd started listening to Programming by Stealth from the very beginning. How would you find just those episodes? Podfeet.com/PBS. Well, I hope I didn't jumble this in your head by telling you all of the options, but rather cemented into your head the idea that podfeet.com/whatever you want is the way to find the stuff you want. If you want to know how it's done, I'll tell you a little bit of the sausage making. That's even more fun. Bart and Donald Burr worked together with me to help me get this set up, but it's super easy once they gave me the framework. Inside a WordPress installation, there's a hidden file called .htaccess. This is a hypertext access file that's used by a web server software, and it's designed to do exactly what I'm doing with it. In the .htaccess file, I have a series of lines that start with rewrite rule. So these are called rewrite rules. I follow that by a caret, that little, the thing above the 6, at least on the American keyboard, and then the name I want to follow after podfeet.com. So to make the podfeet.com/live link, I start with rewrite rule, caret live. Next up is a $, and then the really long and annoying URL that I'm going to redirect over to podfeet.com/live. Finally, you close all of this off with square brackets, R equals 301, L. This last bit tells the web server that we want a permanent redirect, that's the 301 part, and that this is the last redirect the server will see. So I think that means that for this particular query, it's the last redirect it's going to see because each of my redirects has one of these L's at the end of it. I put the text of all of my rewrite rules into the show notes so you could see what they look like. I'm sure this was a bit more geeky than some of you wanted to learn, but I think it's really cool. It's really easy for me to create these, and it's easy for you to remember them. Facebook group, podfeed.com/Facebook. Google Plus, podfeed.com/Google+. Live show, podfeed.com/live. And by the way, if there's a redirect you'd like, you're tired of using bookmarks or you don't want to have to remember it, just let me know what it is and I'll add it for you. I hope you'll never have trouble finding things on podfeed.com ever again. Wow, that is still recording low. Do not know why that is today. You're preparing. All right, Bart. Well, people are going to hear you in just a few minutes on security bits, so we'll talk to you then. Save.
Okie dokie. So future me will say hello shortly.
I actually had to go back and listen to that a second time to. All right, that's not too far off, at least. Oh, look, I saved like Kevin told me to. All right. Oh, you have to work? Fine. Okay. Now it's for a long, fun story. This is such a weird story. I love this story, though. All right. Did I miss anything good in here? Am I friendly or enthusiastic? I can't multitask. Oh, Mika Poe. Okay. Mika, that's why your name is familiar. Steve said you were new, and I said, no, I've met Mika before, but you've emailed me before. We have definitely chatted. That's why I remember your name. Got it. Excellent. I'm not as dumb as I thought. Well, maybe. It's hard to do. Yeah, Twit is going to do the live coverage, Brett. I heard Leo talking about it on Mac Break, maybe? Twit, maybe? All right, here we go. I found it a little distracting. I like to get it without the yapping. I mean, except in text, of course. All right, here we go. Well, the new hip thing today is all of these Internet of Things devices, right? Steve and I have been dipping our toes in with the Ring video doorbell, the chimes that go with it, the Hue lights that automatically change in time with the Expanse series on Sci-Fi. And let's see, we got the Nest Protect smoke alarm that'll tell us if there's a fire, even if we're not home, or it does also carbon monoxide. We also have Wemo switches that turn on our hot water pump, so we have toasty hot water when we need it. But they all rely on one really important thing. They need to be able to connect to the home Wi-Fi network to do their various duties. A while ago, we had a little power blip, nothing major, over in a minute or two, and it knocked all of these devices offline. Some of them came back by themselves, but some of them didn't. The Ring chimes seem to be particularly difficult to get back onto our network. Remember, everything is fiddly, right? Well, Steve and I, mostly Steve, spent hours trying to get these devices reconnected. And for a time, they'd reconnect, and then they'd disconnect again and again and again. We chased this problem for weeks. It was driving us crazy. We really started buckling down on trying to find the root cause this week. As we noodled the problem over dinner, while driving to the gym, while walking to the beach, we thought, I'm going to stop and start over because I'm getting a private message, and it might be that my audio is all screwed up. Micah. Okay, thank you. I'm going to start that over. I didn't like it anyway. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. I'm always worried now if I see a chat pop up, Steve, ever since that doubling of the audio.
Yeah, I probably should have waited. By the way, Sybil was watching the old show accidentally. Just turned on the new show, so you might want to start over.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Sybil. Okay. So, hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast. Micah. All right, here we go. Let's start this over. Well, the new hip thing these days is these Internet of Things devices, right? Steve and I have been dipping our toes in with the Ring video doorbell, the chimes that go with it, the Hue lights that automatically change in time with the Expanse series on Sci-Fi. We got the Nest Protect smoke alarm. That'll tell us if there's a fire, even if we're not home, or carbon monoxide is in the house when our pets might be in danger. We've got the Wemo switches that turn on our hot water pump and one of our lights. The hot water pump's awesome, so we have toasty hot water whenever we need it. But they all rely on one really important thing. They need to be able to connect to our home Wi-Fi network to do their various duties. A while ago, we had a little power blip, nothing major, over in a minute or two, and knocked all of the devices offline. Some of them came back by themselves, but some of them didn't. The ring chimes seemed particularly difficult to get back onto our network. Remember, everything is fiddly, right? The nice thing about the ring chimes, though, is they have a glowing blue light, and if it's blinking rapidly, you know they're offline. It's possible that we thought they did it more than the others because at least they were telling us that they had a problem. Steve and I, okay, mostly Steve, spent hours and hours and hours trying to get all of these devices reconnected. For a time, they'd connect and then they'd disconnect and just over and over and again, they were coming on, they were coming off. We chased this problem for weeks. We really started buckling down on trying to find the root cause, though, this week. We noodled the problem over dinner. We talked about it driving to the gym. We talked about it when we were walking to the beach. We thought about this on and on and on. And then we realized there was one thing these devices had in common. And that's that they all connect over the 2.4 gigahertz network. You've heard me talk about that before. I usually forget that. But we started thinking, what would be affecting the 2.4 gigahertz network, but not our other devices? We also thought about the fact that none of our 5 gigahertz devices were. I winged it, and then I forgot that I had written that part. So I'm going to cut that right now. Teach me to wing it. All right, here we go. Let's see. We tried to connect to our 2.4 gigahertz network with our Macs, iPhones, and iPads. And while on some occasions we were able to connect, most of the time it would fail on those devices too. So, most of the time, the 2.4 gigahertz network simply wouldn't show up at all. But what would be making all of these devices, anything trying to connect to the 2.4 gigahertz network, not work? Now, if you've been playing along with our home game, you got to remember that the Airport Extreme routers, you create separate networks by simply naming your 5 gigahertz band. Okay, something's wrong.
Your video froze. Your audio is coming through, but the video is frozen.
Interesting. Okay. My video froze a little while ago. Let me turn my camera off and back on and see if that fixes it. Well, let's see. I'm going to do this. I'm going to change to my FaceTime camera. And I'm going to change back. It's going to be a long story if I have to keep stopping. All right.
Okay.
Video?
That looks good. I don't know what happened there. But everything's fiddly, you know.
All right, I'm going to try this again. Might as well do that because this one's going to be a long story and we're right at the beginning. So, all right. Just to try to isolate the problem, we tried connecting to our 2.4 gigahertz network with our Macs, iPhones, and iPads. And while on some occasions we could connect, most of the time that would also fail. Really often, the 2.4 gigahertz network simply wouldn't show up at all. I should mention, if you haven't been playing along with our home game, that with the Airport Extreme routers, you can create separate networks by simply naming your 5 gigahertz band something different. And that's what we've done here. It's the only way we can set up those devices is if they can see a dedicated 2.4 gigahertz network. Well, I started looking askance at my Airport Extreme as the culprit here. We tried soft resets and we unplugged power to reset it. We used a little paperclip hole to reset it as well. Side note, it used to bother me that I kept using new paper clips to bend to do this. I felt like I was wasting them. Then I realized in the last couple of years, I haven't used a paper clip for anything but resetting electronics. Plus the kittens like to play with them on my desk. Anyway, back to the fun with network story. The Airport Extreme will allow you to export your configuration settings and then import them back in. I knew I could do a full factory reset and get right back to where I was on my network with this technique. Being a belt and suspenders kind of geek, I also whipped open Clarify and took screenshots of every network configuration and printed that to a PDF so that I had that as well. I reset the router, pulled in the old settings, and the 2.4 gigahertz band was still borked. My suspicion was that the 2.4 gigahertz radio was on its last legs, but that the 5 gigahertz radio was still working. One of my new hobbies, being retired, is getting my money's worth out of AppleCare. So that means I can spend literally hours entertaining the people who answer the phone. My first contact when I called about this problem was my new little friend Jada, and she was delightful. Since I had my lovely PDF, I could show her when she screen shared into my computer, I could show her all of my settings the way I had it set up before. She was able to verify everything was set just as it should be. The only idea she had was that maybe I should change the IPv6 settings to link local only, which I've heard Dave Hamilton of the Mac Geek Gab mention quite a few times. We did that, but sadly that didn't help. I asked her whether my Airport Extreme was covered under AppleCare, and she told me something I had thought was just an urban legend. She said that if within 2 years of when you buy an Airport Extreme, you buy any Mac with AppleCare, then the Airport Extreme would be covered under that AppleCare. I just happened to have bought my MacBook Pro and my MacBook inside that window, so I was golden. Remember that the next time you're debating whether AppleCare is worth it on your Macs.
Right as soon as that sound happened is when the video froze.
Interesting. Okay. So I heard that sound and my camera froze. Well, this is fun. So what could I do here? I got an idea. Yeah, I know my video's gone. Hang on. Let me see. I could eject my hang on. Amadeus Pro is using it. What? Why would Amadeus Pro be using that? Okay. There's not much I can do about this, Steve. Because of the end of the story. I don't want to ruin the story for everybody listening.
Well, can you just reset the camera like you did before?
Yeah, but I don't want to keep stopping doing the recording. This is really kind of throws me off my rhythm here.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this over and over again. Ooh, it didn't come back. Interesting. Oh, wait, am I back?
Nope.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, how about if I do this? How about if we blow off my good camera and I just go with the display eyesight?
Okay. Maybe aim it. Aim it down a little.
How's that?
No.
Zoomed way in.
Yeah.
I wonder whether it's this. Maybe I should go to this. Wow, that looks horrible, doesn't it? Okay, would you rather have me freeze every couple of minutes or have this?
Let's go ahead and do this. Just sit back a little.
Okay. Would you like to come read this to me so that I can see? All right. That might not fix it. Who knows? But where did I stop?
Well,
now?
it would help isolate the problem if it does.
This is really ruining my train of choo-choo here. All right. Let's see. Remember that the next time you're debating whether AppleCare is worth it on your Macs. Okay. All right. Oh, his video went out last. Oh, that was close. Okay. So did you guys know that? Did you know that AppleCare cover on your Macs covers your airport if you buy it within 2 years? I thought that was...
I did not know that. And by the way, Horse is in the house.
Horse!
Long
Where's
time no
Horse
see.
been? Oh, Steve, you missed another typo. In the show notes, it says being a belt and suspenders kind of geek, and it says Bing.
Maybe that was a Freudian slip.
The video looks fine to your face, Servant of Claus says. Okay. All right. Oh, it's a reasonable time. Oh, that's right, because you're in England, right? So it's only 7 hours instead of 8 for a few minutes. Sadly, next week it'll already be back to 8 again. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see. Here we are. Okay. However, Jada wasn't sure I could get a replacement sent to me. She knew that I could drive to the Apple retail store to do a hardware test to verify it, and then it would be covered in AppleCare. But I didn't want to leave my house. I wanted them to send me one. So she bumped me up to a senior advisor, my new little best friend, Daniel. Daniel was great. He understood everything I had done as I'd explained to Jada, and he authorized a new Airport Extreme to be sent to me. The good thing about getting to a senior advisor at Apple is that they automatically give you their contact information. You can call them, email them. It's awesome. You set up appointments with them. You can talk to them again. And they sort of take care of you from then on out. I got the new Airport Extreme in 2 days, and it had the same problem. Now, what are the chances that the 2.4 gigahertz radio would be out on both routers? Yeah, pretty close to zero. I do want to tell you one funny thing about this, though. When I got the receipt from Apple saying they were shipping it, they said, an adult has to sign for this. Well, guess what happened when they came to drop the package off? My doorbell didn't work because my 2.4 gigahertz router is not working. So luckily the guy left it anyway and it worked out. But I was thinking about that going, I'm not going to know when he comes to the door because I'm not going to hear it because my doorbell doesn't work because I need my router. And I'm in a circle of heck. Anyway. All right. Well, Dorothy and I love to noodle tech problems when we're at the gym because it just makes the time fly by. A woman next to us told us once that she loves to listen to us even though she hasn't a clue what we're talking about. Anyway, well, I was noodling this with Dorothy and we walked through what we started talking about what was the last thing that was added to the environment. The only thing that I'd introduced recently was the new powered USB hub I told you about from Anchor. When I got home, I asked Steve about it. You know, he's the electrical engineer. I'm only mechanical. And he didn't think that could be the cause. He explained that the only possible path was the power for the hub, but since that's coming in at 60 hertz, it couldn't possibly mess with 2.4 gigahertz. Even if it were a harmonic frequency, the amplitude would have died off too much at that many orders of magnitude. Well, before I got back on the phone with Daniel, I sent him a whole slew of information. I sent him a diagnostics report that I ran from the airport utility. I sent him a list of the devices that are on my 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz network. And I sent him a link to the explanation of how I bypassed the Verizon Fios router and used the Airport Extreme for DHCP and Wi-Fi. I loved working with Daniel because he was methodical, logical, and helped me change one thing at a time. He explained right at the beginning that eliminating the devices that are on the 2.4 gigahertz band could lead us to find the culprit. And I hadn't actually thought about one of the clients causing it. He suggested that I unplug them one at a time and we'd watch the effect on the network. He first told me the story of a guy whose HP wireless printer had been the cause of all his grief. And, I felt bad because he was talking about how this guy was really angry when he wanted him to start doing this. And I thought, man, this is great. This is a perfect way to diagnose it. And, right after he talked about the HP wireless printer, I realized I totally forgot that I have an HP wireless printer too, and it could easily have been the giver of grief. Printing's always a bad thing, right? Well, I shut it off, and sadly, that didn't help. In succession, I unplugged the Wemos, the ones that control the hot water pump and the front light. I unplugged both of the Ring doorbell chimes. I unscrewed both Hue light bulbs. I unplugged the Fire TV just in case. It's too lazy to remember if it was on 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. I unplugged my cordless phones. I'd actually thought of that one earlier. I unplugged the Hue light bulb, the Hue light hub from the network, and nothing fixed the problem. By the way, Steve was out, so I didn't have the nerve to tear out the wiring that went into our house wiring for the doorbell. Now, think about how patient Daniel had to be here. Every single time I unplugged something, I had to change networks, which meant it would kill his screen sharing session with me, and we'd have to reconnect. But he soldiered on. I started looking around for other things to disconnect. I'd heard Dave Hamilton talking in the Mac Geek Gab just this week about how with Wi-Fi calling now, if you've been using a microcell, you can toss it out the window. Unplug that bad boy. And of course, I lost the call to Daniel because I didn't set up Wi-Fi calling first. I did get Wi-Fi calling turned on and we were back in business. And yet we still couldn't figure out what was causing the 2.4 gigahertz dropouts. Now, Daniel loves his anecdotes and he said to me, I don't look in the refrigerator first for my glasses, but if I've looked everywhere else, I have to look in the refrigerator. And guess what? Once they were in the refrigerator. Well, his anecdote was his way of convincing me that I should shut off my MacBook Pro from which we've been doing all the testing. As he talked me into it, he suggested maybe it was the measurement instrument itself that was causing the problem. I was doubtful, but I liked his glasses in the fridge analogy, so I shut off my Mac. And the 2.4 gigahertz band jumped right up and started working flawlessly. Oh, dear. Well, we were both kind of sad about that, though, because that meant he had to open a whole new ticket for me because it looked like it was my Mac that had some sort of crazy electromagnetic signal it was producing. He had me do a PRAM reset, also known as an NVRAM reset, and I learned something interesting from him. They used to call it PRAM, now they call it NVRAM. He told me that it was always called NVRAM, but they didn't think people would understand what that meant, so they have always called it a PRAM reset. He said it was for preferences reset. I don't know if that's true, but it sounded like a cool story. So anyway, he had me do the NVRAM reset, and then he had me boot into recovery mode by holding down Command R on boot up. Now, I've done this a lot of times, and I'd never noticed before that you could actually launch Safari while you're in recovery mode, so you can eliminate all other software for being at the root cause. I tried to connect to the 2.4 gigahertz band in recovery mode, and it failed. But then I had another thought. I suggested maybe it's not the Mac itself, but maybe it's something plugged into the Mac that's at the heart of this. I unplugged the mini DisplayPort video connection to my Apple Cinema display first, and there was no change. I unplugged USB from the Mac to the Apple Cinema display. That lets the monitor act as a hub. No change. I unplugged the Ethernet to Thunderbolt adapter. No change. The only thing left connected to my MacBook Pro was the powered USB hub I mentioned earlier. I unplugged it and boom, 2.4 gigahertz came back. Well, that's good news, right? That means it's not the MacBook Pro itself. But we can't condemn the hub yet, can we? Because there's a lot of stuff plugged into that. I disconnected every device from the hub, and I plugged just the hub back into my Mac, and 2.4 gigahertz was alive and well. I plugged my USB mic interface from Shure into the hub, and 2.4 gigahertz died. Well, that's not the worst news. I just got that for Christmas, so it's probably still under warranty. But just to double check, I unplugged it and plugged it back into to be sure, and 2.4 gigahertz kept working. What does that mean? For the life of me, I was not able to get 2.4 gigahertz to fail with that USB interface ever again. Okay, fine. I'll start plugging more stuff in. Everything worked until I got to my 3 terabyte Seagate backup drive. 2.4 gigahertz failed again. Well, that's good news too. Disks are cheap. But then I unplugged the backup drive and 2.4 gigahertz didn't come back. Well, what is the pattern here? Steve and I experimented back and forth and found seemingly random effects. At one point, it occurred to me that I normally shove the hub under my monitor and back up against a bunch of other equipment. We tried shoving it under, and 2.4 gigahertz went away. Pulled it back out, 2.4 gigahertz came back. Shoved it back under, and 2.4 gigahertz stayed alive. Oh, come on. It's driving us crazy. At one point, the power cable fell out of the Anchor hub, which confused all of our experiments. When I plugged it back in, I noticed a little tiny spark. The only explanation we have for this entire story is there's got to be some weird power fluctuation or intermittent power connection in the hub that happens to be interfering with the 2.4 gigahertz band. I did talk to Bart, though, about it, and he suggested that maybe it's the data traveling over the over the USB 3 cable. So he did point out that if you've got USB 3, you can be transferring data at gigabits per second, which might start interference with 2.4. I'm hoping to be chatting with Anchor soon to get an exchange because if nothing else, the hub is always in the plot when my network goes bad. I don't mean any of this as a slam against Anchor, by the way. I'm sure that they'll come through as the quality company that everybody has told me they are, and that they'll work with me on this. I'm not blaming them, but I thought this was interesting. I hope you enjoyed this story. Steve and I are really happy that after weeks of diagnostics by 2 engineers, a first-level tech, and a senior advisor, we tracked down the root cause of this pesky problem. Steve was worried, by the way, that I would throw him under the bus in the telling of the story because I had asked about the hub earlier, but since we don't know how it could be doing this, I've decided to be nice and not throw him under the bus.
So George has a very interesting set of comments that you should read. I just sent.
Okay. Let's see. The limitation that the new USB driver leaves us with is each external USB 3 hub needs 1 3 hubs to do this, such as the pluggable 7-port. What? Driver bug. The vast majority of USB 3 hubs with more than 4 ports fail.
Your video froze again.
Seriously?
Yep.
Okay, so it's not. We can at least have a better video freeze.
In what sense?
I might as well have the good camera freeze.
Yeah. Yeah. That's better.
Might as well put the good camera back if it's going to freeze anyway. So that's not, I don't have the, I have power plugged into this hub. Maybe I should just unplug the power to it too, so it can't be doing anything.
The hub that was failing?
Yeah, but the hub is not plugged into my Mac. I'm just going to unplug it so it can't.
What was plugged into it?
Into what?
The hub.
Nothing was plugged into the hub except for power.
Oh.
It's sitting on my desk with power to it.
I got you.
Lonnie had the same problem with diagnosing that equipment having the problem. Last place you'd look. Yes, always look for your glasses in the refrigerator. Okay, so are you collecting what George told us? So USB
Yes.
driver, a mini multi-port USB hub. Some hubs are designed to break into sets of 4, others not. Al Capper is said to have issues with more than 4. New USB drivers leaves us as each external 3.0 hub needs 1 controller chip for every 4. Only a few external USB 3 hubs do this, such as the pluggable 7-port USB 3. Huh.
So if that's the case, it may not just be this hub, but any hub with more than 4, as George says.
Interesting. So,
but you think they would, Anchor would know about
Anchor
that.
should know about this. Yeah. Well, when they write back to me, I'll bring that up, George. Yeah. Steve, can you capture that and just send it in an email to me?
I will do that.
Okay. I am going to edit the word Bing out of this because I don't want it saying Bing. Being.
But Bing really doesn't get enough attention.
Being a belt and suspenders kind of geek. The blog. All right. There we go. It'd be interesting to see if my video doesn't freeze again. Guaranteed to have a cold gaze if you use glasses from the refrigerator. Nice. All right. I think at this point, oh, I see where I'm going next. Preview here. All right. Anybody from Canada? Nobody from Canada has used my new affiliate links. Fun with flags and all. Did Bart forget to come? It's too bad.
Right. Don't you have an Australian link set up?
I do not have an Australian link. Nobody has requested an Australian link.
I would think you should.
Well, did I or did I not say somebody should request it? I should set them all up. It was fun doing. All right, here we go. Well, I'm happy to say that the new Amazon affiliate links for countries other than the US are starting to take off. Folks from England and Germany are starting to use the links like crazy, so that's awesome. But Canada hasn't kicked off yet, you guys. Anyway, if you haven't heard me explain it before, when you buy anything from Amazon after starting at one of my links on the Fun with Flags page, where do you think it is? If it's about Amazon, podfeed.com/Amazon. Anyway, if you start there, a small percentage goes to help pay the bills to keep the shows afloat. Last week, I told you that the new country's Amazon account started me over at 3%, but I was wrong. It just has to do with what you buy. Someone in England paid for their Microsoft Office 365 subscription through Amazon. That earned 5% back for the show. Isn't that cool? I didn't even know you could rent Office 365 through Amazon. Someone in Germany bought some kids' books. Those earned 7% for the show. In case you're wondering, I can't tell who buys what. I can only see what gets bought and how much goes to help the NosillaCast and Chit Chat Across the Pond stay on the air. I sure hope that when you're shopping on Amazon, you'll start at podfeed.com and then go to Amazon from there. Thanks to everyone who's already been shopping this way, it makes a huge difference to the show. All right. Now it is time for security bits. Okay, so my audio. Where do I keep my GarageBand jingles? There they are. It's time for security bits. Put that right here, I think. All right. I love the security bits music. You found that for us, Steve.
Yeah, I tripped along that. It sounded kind of techy.
And kind of like...
And a little sinister.
And newsy, I think.
A bit newsy, yeah.
All right, let's see. I think I need to move that. It's a long one. If Amazon makes enough. Yeah, see, Kevin, here's the deal. Amazon doesn't quite pay for the show. So something else would have. People would have to start doing a lot more buying. Just saying. All right. I think I've got too much gap, but let me listen. Already been shopping this way. It makes a huge difference to the show. Well, why does it do that? I do not understand that.
Video frozen.
Yay. Ooh, yeah.
That's a good one.
I'm going to fix that one quickly. So it wasn't the power to the hub. What is making my video freeze?
And all of these, I think, are going to be recorded in the in the Google Plus Hangout.
Oh, well, that wasn't it. That was just me making a face. Did I just lose it again?
Yep.
Am I back?
Nope.
What is causing this?
I don't know. It's kind of odd.
Well, now that you guys have heard the story, I don't have a USB hub, so my camera is not plugged into my Mac. It is plugged. It's plugged into my monitor because I can't eject the T3. It didn't come back?
No.
There we go. The T3 is plugged in, but it won't let me eject it. It says that Amadeus Pro is using it, which makes no sense. No sense. No sense. Ooh, I don't like that gap. Hang on. Let me list this. Nice. And not throw them under the bus. Wow, that was way too long. I'm glad I noticed that. Whoop. That was too big of a gap there. Okay, let's see where that is now. I've decided to be nice and not throw them under the bus. Well, I'm happy to. Yeah, George, I know it is a hub. I'm saying I'm using. Yeah, so I technically I did say I don't have a hub, but I do have a hub. So I'm using the Mac monitor as a hub because I don't have enough USB ports. If I unplug the monitor USB, then I would lose my microphone, so that would be a bad thing. And like I said, I've got this T3 SSD, which is why I bought that hub. I've got to plug directly into my Mac, but Amadeus Pro won't let me eject it, so I can't unplug that to plug in my camera. So this is why I bought a hub. Oh, did George, did you give Steve a link on where you found that stuff out about the problem with the more than 4 ports? All right. Oh, I see what you're saying. The monitor's a USB hub and how many ports? Yeah, it actually only has 3. So I guess I'm okay. Shopping this way, it makes a huge difference to the show. What the heck? Oh. What the heck? What did I just drag in here? That's not right.
That sounded like chit chat.
Chit chat. I figured. All right. Probably not that. Hang on. Oh, that's lame. Oh, what did I just do? Hang on. It's turning into anarchy. Oh, I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. This is going to be a pain. Okay. I'm not sure how to do this. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. So yeah, we probably don't want an entire chit chat added to this. Security bits. There we go. How about this one? We'll try this. That would sound better. Oh, so Horse, what I'm doing is I'm just switching the camera to my eyesight and back each time. So I don't know why. All right, George, glad you came. Dog sitting due to the new arrival. Is it fun being a grandpa? You should be signing in as Grandpa George.
So George didn't give us the link, but he gave us a post number, and I'm not quite sure what he meant by that.
A post number.
225025.
Oh, maybe it's a.
Oh, it's an Apple. Maybe an Apple post.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's hear how this sounds. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time. How's that? Is that okay, Steve?
Yeah, sounded okay.
You weren't listening.
Yeah, I was. I just was muted.
Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for. It's a little long.
A little long.
Let's see. I don't know. How about this? Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Shots. How you doing today, Bart?
I am doing fine. Just managed to do 30k on the bike today and managed not to overexert myself to the point that I had to beg you to hold off like I did on Thursday.
Yeah, before chit chat, I got this message from Bart saying that he was what was the exact phrase you used? Something like overestimated my winter fitness level or something.
My post-winter fitness level. Yeah, so I basically went out. I said, "Oh, I have 2 hours until I'm recording with Alison. I'll go out for a cycle." And I just on autopilot took my route that I was taking last summer after months of getting fitter and fitter. And it was a 1 hour 50-minute cycle last summer. It was not a 1 hour 50-minute cycle. Yeah, I think I was like 25 minutes till recording, and I was like, I'm still 15 kilometers from home.
Not going to happen, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got some fun today.
Oh, yes, we do. Our usual security bit has obviously been like a very, very quiet. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. So let's start with what is going to be a traditional segment for a while anyway. So just a little update on the FBI stuff. Now, this couldn't possibly complete everything going on because there's just so much going on in this story and so many opinions.
By the way, I would like to start calling it FBI versus security.
Yeah, that works. That works.
All right.
Apple are just the proxy for all of our security because they're the first ones to be asked to do something.
All right, I'm going to jump to the end. Linda, I just sent Kirshen a note telling her that you miss her and that you wish she was here. So that's nice. She will. I like to make people feel guilty, if nothing else. Mark, he comes when I don't want him here. All right, let's see. There we go. This is a long security bits. We're 87 minutes. Oh, good Lord. Show's an hour and a half long. And I was worried I wouldn't have enough content this week. Guess we did okay. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Here we go. Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. Do not forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions by emailing me at allison@podfeet.com. Follow me on Twitter at Podfeet. Where do you think that Google Plus community is? Podfeet.com/Google Plus. Where's the Facebook group? Podfeet.com/Facebook. Well, if you want to join in the fun of the live show like Micah did for the first time, head on over to, you got it, podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed.
Well,
my video's frozen again.
Yeah.
Seems to freeze because while I'm recording.
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right.
You're back.
I saw it this time at least. I happened to be looking over there and went, well, I'm not moving.
Stay patched and stay secure.
Well, that's going to wind us. So after we got off, Kirshen says, send her my regards to Linda. She says, where is it? Send her my regards. Made pizza after a 28-mile bike ride. I'll give her a smiley face for that one. There you go. That really says I mean it. All right.
How is your C920 plugged in now? It's through the
monitor.
As acting as a hub.
Yep. No choice. Can't do it any other way right now. If I rebooted my Mac and unplugged the T3, I could have it plugged in at the same time. But it's that kind of juggling I didn't want to do. That's why I bought a hub. So anyway.
Well, maybe 2 4-port hubs.
How am I going to plug in 2 4-port hubs? I would need a hub to plug in a 2-second 4-port hub. Shift track.
There's Kirshen.
Wait, did she just come in?
Yeah.
Oh, she's coming in just to say hi. Hi, Kirshen. We're right at the end of the show, so you won't even have to say long. I was just telling them that I like making people feel guilty. But your fans were looking for you. All right, let me say. Yeah, we're actually closing the show up. So where'd that go? Here we go. All right, here we go. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. A little bit later. By the way, Bart, when he was talking about his stay, he always says stay patched and stay secure. He where is the note? I saved it. Exactly what he said. He says that the single number one thing you can do, the most important thing you can do to stay secure is to stay patched. And he says, if you don't stay patched, you're the lowest of low-hanging fruit. You're basically at mouth level if you're not. They're great.
Nice.
Let's see. Let's do this one more time here. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. 88 minutes. Good Lord. Who's going to listen that long? That's mostly Bart, so you guys will like it, right? Let's see. Sound. Bounce document to new file. Have you noticed it doesn't freeze up if I'm not recording, Steve?
Yes, I've noticed that. That's kind of interesting.
So, Micah, where are you from? Where are you from? Did you guys already ask Micah that?
No.
So, what? Whoa.
Frozen.
Yeah, I saw it.
And I heard the little glitch again.
Yeah, so did I. What the heck is going on?
You didn't bump anything when that happened.
No,
right?
I'm not touching anything.
All right.
But no, something else weird happened was, it's probably just because I had the focus was over here. MS, is that Mississippi? Hattiesburg? Oh, I'm so glad you're back, Linda. Definitely missed you. Wow, this audio looks really weird, but I hope everything will convert to mono. Hope everything will get cleaned up, but my audio is so much lower tonight. It's like I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, that doesn't look quite as bad. Let's see if I go like right here. Understand that I didn't know. Really wished you'd started listening to program Expanse series on sci-fi. If you're already using 1Password, you probably okay. Yeah, so it's a lot louder when Bart's there, but what are you gonna do? All right, so file, save as. Let's see. Okay. No. Want to go AIFF. NC ep. There we go. 320. Save. And I think we're a wrap with 3 minutes to spare. How exciting is that?
So Horse is asking, it's not during a monitor switch, is it? You're not switching monitors.
No, I'm simply sitting still, not touching anything, not doing anything, just recording audio when my video is freezing. I don't know. It's probably the hub. No, we unplugged the hub. I don't know. Normally in the old days, my camera would have been plugged directly into my mic, directly into my USB on my MacBook Pro, I should say. So this is not the model that I would have been in before. So it is a little bit different. But anyway, that's the truth. All right. Well, I think we are a wrap. I think we are going to call it. I'm going to start this working with Ahmed Aphonic to get the levels fixed. And we're going to get going. So this was fun, guys. I'm so glad you came, Micah. This is great. It is a good time. It looks like Kevin was... did Kevin leave?
Yeah, he had to go do his show.
Oh, that's why everybody was nice tonight, because Kevin wasn't here. That's good. Okay, I got it.
He was there in the beginning. He just...
Okay, he was nice anyway. All right, everybody. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna cut us off. Let's I can hear it.
By the way, I'm hearing the glitching.
Yeah, so am I.
But your video is continuing.
I'm touching nothing. Let me touch my keyboard again. I was touching my keyboard.
I hear it. I am hearing it when you touch the keyboard.
No, just did it again.
Maybe it's just when there's audio.
That just did it when you talked.
So is it related to audio?
Yeah, it's clicking when you're talking now.
I don't hear it click when I talk.
It
but
stopped.
I don't hear my own voice through the Hangout.
That is really weird. I think I need a new MacBook Pro. All right, I am going to stop the live audio broadcast. I'm going to stop video as soon as I can after that. Goodbye, app people. Goodbye, Alpha Geek Radio. All right, I'm going to kill this too. Bye. Bye, video people.